Hi, this is Thomas on TP Parts Rc-Xtreme, and welcome to a new how-to video. In this video we're going to talk about droop or suspension travel. This video will be about how to gain more out travel on a few trucks from the ARRMA line, especially the new ARRMA Talion 6S BLX, the version 2018, the ARRMA Typhon, and the short course truck, the ARRMA Senton 6S, the ARRMA Kraton and the Outcast, and the regular Talion, the V1 and 2, is not recommended to do this modification, since it will bind or have an excess wear on the outdrives and the wheel axles. So I'm going to show you how I did this particular modification. Here are the results when it's done. As you can see here, this mounting hole on the rear arm are larger than the stock one, and I added an inner hole. Now that's the modification we will do, and take out some material for the spring cup holder, or what you call it. Now, since I didn't have a new rear suspension arm, I'm going to use a front one just to show you how I do it. I have all measurements in the description, what kind of tools you will need or recommend to use. So let's start. So the first part is to remove your rear wheels. Now this modification can be done without removing the arms. There's no need for that. Remove the wheels, remove the shocks. I recommend you to remove the wing. It's easier to play and test if you have a dremeled out perfect amount of material for the shock ball end. So the first thing we will do, I hope you can see this, guys, is to measure from that point up towards the rear diff and mark. And the measurement is 21 millimeters from that edge to where you will stop dremeling. Then you will have plenty of room for the shock ball end to play with. And when that is dremeled out, you will then mark for the new secure screw for the shock. So I'm going to show you here. So this is the front arm, but bear in mind, this modification is all about the rear end. This is just to show you how I did it. So you take the Dremel after you have marked where to stop dremeling. I'm using a rotary tool, a grinding tool. Then you take a sharp knife to cut out excessive materials. It's not that hard. should be something like this. Next step is to mark where the new inner hole, that's the modifications all about, the new inner hole on the rear suspension arm. Like I said, this is a front arm, but I will just show you how I did it. So from the outer edge to the inner, 21 millimeters, and the new hole in the rear arm should be 7.5 millimeters from center of the stock hole towards the differential. I'm using a caliper and set it to 7.5, and this is no science, but make sure you are so correct as possible. So center, and then you mark it. There are a molding, molding edge on the arm that are in the center, and that's a perfect spot. So after you mark that one, you take your drill. I'm using a 2.4 millimeters to drill this, and now it's very important that you drill straight. A recommendation is to use the stock mounting pin for the lower part of the shock in the arm. Then you can see you're drilling in a straight line, you're following the stock secure pin. So you're through. Now it's very, very important that you're drilling straight. You only have one shot with this. So when you're through the first part, make sure you are in the center of the other part. And the correct depth is, now let's see, 15 to 16 millimeters. I'm using just a tape to mark it. Don't drill any further than that. So when that's done, it's almost ready. So that's the hard part actually. So you just Dremel out this part 21 millimeters, center to center 7.5. Using a 2.5 millimeter drill. You can even use a 2.8, but since you're going to use a 3 millimeter screw to attach the lower part of the shock in the arm, so don't go 3 millimeters. I recommend a 2.2, 2.4. So it's self-threaded through. The next thing you need to do, especially on the ARRMA Talion, the 2018 version, and the camera here, so you can see, you Dremel out how you say it, a kind of a slot for the spring cup holder. This particular car have more vertical mounted shocks, so it will touch the rear arm, so you need to Dremel that out. But it's easy when you have done this. Dremel out this part, you drill this hole. You can, as I said, you can do all this with the arms mounted. It's much easier then. You will need to mount your shock, or you already have it mounted, but you need to test it. So I'm going to move up forward here so you can see it. Hope you can see these guys here. Now this edge, this part that hold the spring in place will actually touch the rear arm. So you need to Dremel that out, but do a mark with a white marker or anything else. And I'm using a round tool for my rotary tool and just shaving off a bit, not too much. Start with a little bit at a time and then you test it. If it's too little, then you will remove more and you test again. So what we've done so far is to Dremel out this hole, measure from that point to this 21 millimeters. The new inner hole, center to center, 7.5 millimeters, and drill it straight. We're using a 2.4 millimeter drill, and the drill depth is approximately 15 to 60 millimeters. And you taking a sharp knife to take out all excessive plastic and so on. Then you have put down the shock and hold it in position and mark for the spring cup retainer on the arm, using a rotary tool to sand off so it's perfectly flush, or even some air between the spring holder and the arm. You will still use the stock mounting pin in the arm. Put that back in place and secure it. Like that. And then you will use M3 by 16 millimeters. That's the perfect length to secure the lower part of the shock in the arm. So, done. So, what have we gained with this modification? Well, approximately 10 millimeters more than stock. Might not sound too much, but on that rough terrain it will make a big difference. So it's a very easy modification if you have a rotary tool, couple of drills, sharp knife, marker pen, caliper, and like I said, you can do this modification without removing the arms. Just loosen the shocks and the wing and follow the steps I did, and you will have a go. So if you have any questions or so, just comment below, and all measurements, all tools, everything will be in the movie and in the description. Thank you for watching.